we're sitting here in the, well, it's not the shallop, it's the ship's boat for Mayflower 2, which is owned by Plimouth Patuxet Museums. And it came to us, oh, I don't know, year, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, needing floor timbers and garboards. And so one of the issues with this design is that it has no dead rise, meaning the bottom comes straight out of the keel, almost at a 90-degree angle. And so when, like a flat bottom boat, when water collects in there, you can't really ever pump it all out. And so there's always a little bit of salt or probably fresh water sitting in the lower part of the boat that the bilge pump can never get. And what that does eventually is rot out the floor timbers and, in this case, the garboards. And also, when this boat was built, there really wasn't much of a rabbet back here. So where the garboard came in, there was very little space for caulking, and I think it always leaked there. And so what we had to do was deepen the rabbet back aft. We put a little, I guess what you stern knee kind of horn timber thing in here, and put a little bit more wood back here to attach the garboard to. And so what that did, though, when you have a boat with flat floors or flat garboards like this and no dead rise, those garboards curl up to vertical when they come aft. And what you end up with is all these little spaces right down here where the hull comes in and comes into a frame like that. You end up with a little, I don't know, little valley right there. And then the floor itself creates a dam. So when it rains, water collects in these little valleys and can't get past the floor to get to the middle to get pumped out. So what we've had to do, and I can see I actually need a little bit more here, is, and here I could stand to hit this with a little bit more pitch. We've dumped pitch in here to take up that void and fill the space where the water would sit so that it can't sit there, and so that it'll run through these limber holes and out and eventually down to the middle part of the boat. And so the process, you use a thing called marine glue. We've got an old barrel, been sitting here forever. I actually used, I mixed in some Brazilian gum rosin just because we had it sitting around. I don't really know what it's used for or what it is, but we had it. And it looked like a duck and talked like a duck, so I mixed it with other ducks and it all acted the same. And so you heat that up, in our case, on the wood stove until it's molten. And it's really interesting stuff because it looks crystalline when you go crack into it. And then you'll make a huge mess of this stuff on the top of the barrel of pitch. And you walk away for a week or 2 weeks and you open it up and the whole top is flat like it melted again. But it seems so hard. It's a really interesting animal. But I've used it only in the past working on schooners. You pay the seams, the deck seams, with pitch. And when I did that, I was taught to mix in motor oil because the seam's going to flex and you want that to remain flexible. And part of the benefit of the pitch is that it does remain flexible, so in a wooden boat, as the boat moves, it will move with it. Very much a factor when you're doing a deck of a schooner, but also in a boat like this, these bottom planks are going to move. Everything's going to eventually move when it goes through a swelling and drying cycle, and so you want that pitch to remain plenty flexible doing that. This is our second project for Plimouth Patuxet Museum. So the first one was a shallop that was half again bigger than this boat is, and we did a lot more work on that, pretty much a full below the waterline rebuild. And it's been great. They've been great to work with. They know their stuff, and they are very attuned to quality, and so they're happy to let us take on these projects and work on them here. We get them done probably a little bit slower than other places, but we do use them as a museum exhibit and a teaching tool for kids. And we've done that with a number of other organizations like Schooner Adventure, Mystic Seaport. And so for organizations that do have wooden boats that do need work, we're a pretty good option because, you know, this is a museum boat down there. It's also a museum boat here. We've shown it to hundreds of museum visitors over the year, and we've also had scores of apprentices and students in this boat doing various parts of this, you know, project to get their hands on it and to learn. So we're hoping to work with more organizations in the future that do need these boats, because there are rowing clubs and organizations that use and need these boats, and we like to bill ourselves as a good option for that, because you know, for us it's great to have a project that visitors are interested in seeing, and also it's great to have a project that diversifies what we normally do here for our students to, you know, get a deeper understanding of boat building. The butts that you saw last time have been epoxied in and faired, and once that's painted, you'll never even know it was there. And this thing will be like see less butts. Seymour's brother. You don't see any.